Howdy folks, and welcome to the Hillbilly Kitchen. Today Charlotte and I are going to be making some old-fashioned macaroni and cheese. Now today we're just making basic macaroni and cheese. You can add a lot of stuff to it, and it's almost nap time, so we're going to make this really quick. What you need is about 8 ounces of cheddar cheese, and you either want to cut it up small or shred it, whichever way, it doesn't matter. You need 8 ounces of uncooked pasta, about 3 tablespoons of flour, a little bit of salt, and a little bit of pepper, and that's all we're going to use to season it with. We have 4 tablespoons of butter, which is half a stick, and about 2.5 cups of milk. Now we've already got our pot of water back here boiling. We're just going to pour our milk in our second pot here. And we're going to turn that on about medium heat. And our macaroni water is not quite boiling yet, so we're going to give that just another second. And we're going to add our flour that we've already put our salt and our pepper in to our milk. And we're going to mix that up really good before our milk gets hot. Now you've got to get this mixed in while the milk is still cold. If you don't, it will lump up. And I'm just using 2% milk today, but you can use anything from skim milk to heavy cream to make this. And something to keep in mind is the more fat content your milk has, the creamier your macaroni is going to be. But I didn't have heavy cream today. I had 2% milk, so that's what I'm using. You can also use evaporated milk or even powdered milk. Okay, now we got all the lumps out of that. Yeah. So we're going to go ahead and put our butter in there. Charlotte has reached that age where she is a very picky eater. She has gone from eating whatever we fed her to eating almost nothing. Now you want to cook this macaroni according to your package directions, and you want to cook it just to the al dente stage because you don't want it mushy. We're going to put the macaroni in our sauce and it's going to cook a little bit more. So our package said 7 minutes, and that's what we're going to cook our macaroni. And you do want to test it, make sure it's not still hard. We're just going to go ahead and add our cheese in here. And you don't have to wait until it starts boiling or anything. And you do want to keep an eye on your sauce, and you want to stir it so that it doesn't scorch. Milk will scorch very fast and it'll burn to the bottom of your pan and just make a mess. The way I have this wooden spoon sitting in this pot of macaroni, I actually did a kitchen tip on that. Oops. If you keep a wooden spoon over your pot when you're cooking something like pasta or potatoes that will boil over, it'll stop it from boiling over. Now you can add a lot of different seasonings to macaroni, or macaroni and cheese. You can really spice it up any way you want. It's good with bacon in it. People put hot dogs in it for kids and stuff. A finely chopped onion is really good in it. But when you're making it for kids, plain is kind of best. Now you can put this in the oven, which we are not going to today. And if you're making it for a quick lunch for kids, like Charlotte is not going to wait much longer because it's almost nap time, so I've got to get this made. You can cook it on the stove and still have that really rich, creamy taste like what you would get in the oven. Now if it's winter time and you've got time, turn your oven on about 350 and let it preheat. Save a little bit of your cheese, or use some breadcrumbs or something on the top. But you still make it the same way, and if you bake it, you're going to bake it about 30 minutes or so until it gets brown. What we're doing today though is we're just going to cook it until this sauce gets really thick, and then we're going to add our macaroni into it and stir it a little bit and it'll be just as tasty and creamy and cheesy as what you get out of the oven. It just won't have the brown top on it. Okay, our macaroni's done. Just give it another little stir, and we're gonna drain it. Turn that stove off. Before I make a video, I always look up a lot of recipes for whatever I'm making, just out of curiosity, I guess, to see what else is out there. And I found a lot of recipes that saved a cup of the water that you cook the macaroni in to put in the sauce. Well, water is not very creamy, so I would not do that. I mean, even skim milk is going to be creamier than water. Okay, and all we're going to do is we're going to keep cooking this. Now, our sauce wasn't quite boiling yet until our sauce gets thick. And we're going to stir it because, again, we don't want that milk to scorch. But we will have this macaroni and cheese here ready, table ready, in less than 20 minutes. Remember, our noodles took 7 minutes, so we've had it, I mean, you know, it's been about 8 minutes so far total prep time. And it'll just take a couple of more minutes here because as soon as this starts to boil, it's really going to get thick fast. I'm really in trouble with my little helper here because it's almost nap time and I have interrupted the many adventures of Winnie the Pooh to make this video. So she is not happy with me. I really hope she likes the macaroni. Okay, it's still not quite boiling yet, but we have had our noodles in here about 5 minutes, and you can see it's really starting to get thick. And I suspect we probably got about 2 more minutes. So that gives you homemade, from scratch, super creamy stovetop macaroni and cheese in 15 minutes. Okay, now we're starting to get some bubbles. It's actually boiling. You want to make sure you stir it really fast at this point because it will scorch really fast. And the whole time you're stirring this, you want to make sure you get in the edges of your pot because you don't want it to build up and burn in the corners around the bottom. And like I said, if you put this in the oven, it's going to increase your cooking time by about 30 minutes. So you're looking at a total of, you know, 45 minutes maybe if you make it from scratch and you put it in the oven. And it smells really, really good. So if you've got time and, like I said, you don't mind heating up the house with the oven, it's definitely worth baking it just to get that smell all through the house. Okay, I'm going to turn this off now. Now, something to keep in mind too is this is going to keep getting thicker as it cools. So you don't want to cook it until it gets so thick you can't stir it anymore. Okay, you can see how thick this gets as it cools. It is very cheesy, very creamy. And Charlotte and I are going to have some for lunch as soon as it finishes cooling down. Thanks for joining us again in the Hillbilly Kitchen, and we hope y'all enjoy your homemade macaroni and cheese as much as Charlotte does.